Hey, Cardinals fans, welcome back to the Redbird Rundown. I'm Matt, joined by Scott, and we're excited to have Joe Roderick with us today. Joe could be seen and heard all over STL Sports Central. Joe, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Absolutely. We're excited to talk to you, excited to talk birds. They're good right now. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's exciting, and I knew they would be exciting. I knew being down and being around the team for the 2 weeks that I was down at spring training this year, talking to the guys and just kind of getting a feel for what this team is. Like you knew they weren't listening to the experts. They weren't listening to everything that was being said around them. They were going out there and they didn't know any better. They were just going to go out there and play their brand of baseball. And right now it's working. Right now we're seeing them out there having fun. And I think it's becoming a little infectious. And again, like I think to a lesser point myself, but I do think there's a lot of people in St. Louis. I think there's even more people nationally that are waiting for the bottom to fall out.
Sure.
And as every series goes, like if they can go and win the series against the Padres, if they take 3 or 4 from the Padres, like I think then you start believing a little more. Like
hang the banner,
right? Like taking 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers, that's like okay, like they're maybe we have something here, and I think you just keep building and building. So I don't know when that kind of flips. MLB finally put them in their top 10.
Yeah,
as far as the power rankings, so they're getting noticed to a point.
So it's not quite young, dumb, and go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry.
This is a good way to keep us awake until the 9:00 weekend games for this entire national broadcast weekend. But it'd be a lot more fun if the Reds could figure it out too. My gosh.
Yeah, thank God the Cubs are going on the road. Like that's.
Oh, I haven't even been looking at the standings. It's just scary. I'm just locked in on this team, and I had no expectations for the playoffs anyway. So it's just fun. It's a great time. So
I'm almost there. Like I've said it a few times on shows this week where I'm like, yep, they're a wild card team. Like you look at how bad like teams like the Mets are, and you're like, okay, hey, you know what? Like they're gonna sneak in. You just start kind of looking like who you could pick off and who you could kind of take over. And that's where I am right now. But I'm always like, I mean, to begin with, like I thought, I took the over on the wins for the season.
Oh, yeah.
So I've always been a believer that they would be better. And I also use the mindset too, where if they're good, it's better for my job. Like that's what I need too. So I'm always going to root for them. Even in a rebuild, I'm like, sure, they're going to go surprise people. They're going to go win 85 games and make the playoffs because that's good for me.
Scott, you didn't just take the over. You've been taking the overs, no?
Yeah, so I took every over since they came out, starting at 71.5 and up to 68.5. And then because of that, I also have been placing a money line bet every single game this year. So it has paid out handsomely so far because my whole thought was if I think they're going to go over, but the world thinks they're going to be under, they're going to be underdogs most every game. So all they got to do is win, however many. And we're up, I think, $80 or something already.
Scott's out here paying for college. What a guy.
I can't do that. Yeah, I can't. I could never do that. Like, right, like the only thing that I'm watching, as much fun as I'm having them win right now, I have an over on Ivan Herrera home runs, and it's like, hey, great. You know what? He's being a really solid number 2 hitter right now, and the offense looks really good, but damn, hit more home runs for me.
Find the slug, Yvonne. Find the slug.
Right. Just have a week, hit 3 in a game like you did last year, and it'll make me feel a lot better about the over 25 that I took.
Well, here's the good news. We're going to hand out grades tonight. Joe, you can take it to Yvonne if you want to. Believe it or not, listeners, we're near the first quarter mark of the season. We're like rounding towards game 40. It's kind of crazy that it's here already. We're going to break down every major area of the team, from the offense to the defense, the starting rotation, the bullpen, even the coaching staff, to decide who's passing, who's exceeding expectations, and who might need to stay after class a little longer. Cough, cough, reliever corps. Don't forget to hop into our Discord. We're there during the games all week, reacting live. It's fun, so be sure to check out that link in the episode description. We'll get into our first quarter grades after a word from our sponsor. In baseball, the little decisions matter. Do you swing at the first pitch or wait for your spot? Do you go for 3 or hold up at second? The right call can make all the difference. Making the right insurance decision feels pretty good, too. That's why State Farm agent Scott Owens in Mount Vernon, Illinois, is ready to help you choose the coverage that fits your lineup and your budget. Scott and his team will walk you through your options so you know exactly what to expect if the unexpected steps up to the plate. With Scott Owens, it's easy to make the right call. Just give him a call today at 618-242-3770. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. All right, Joe. It's time to get into the grades. We're just going to keep it at the offense, so take this how you want to, grade it how you want to. For the first quarter, the offense of the St. Louis Cardinals, give us a grade.
Ooh, I'm going to go B
Okay.
for that. Just there has been a little inconsistency. I think we've seen that, we saw that Sunday where they weren't able to get over the hump. We saw it on Wednesday afternoon. They weren't able to get the offense going. I think there have been times this year, especially in the early stages in April, where the offensive runners in scoring position was just downright frustrating at times. And there were a lot of games, late in games, where it seemed like, hey, first two guys on, and then nothing from there. But on the other side, you cannot ask more from Jordan Walker. Like, what Jordan Walker is doing is A+ offense right now. JJ Weatherholt, for what he's doing as a rookie, again, A+ with that. You're getting everything out. You're getting so much. I mean, outside of Mason Wynn's first week, if you just take that first week away, Mason Wynn has had a really good offensive season. And even recently, like we were kind of talking about this yesterday, like Wednesday's game, just to kind of even go deeper into this, Wednesday's game was the first time that Pedro Pages caught Andre Palante this year. Usually it's been
Herrera, right.
Ivan Herrera back there, and you move things around. And we were kind of discussing, was it because of the Reyes injury? Was it or was it just because Pedro Pages' bat hasn't been terrible? It's been a serviceable to be batting 8th as a catcher. What are you expecting? Like, what do you want out of the guy for that? So I think as a whole, it's a B. Outside of Victor Scott's been disappointing, but I think everybody else 1 through 7, and then add a little bit of Pedro Pages in there, has been, I think, better than expected.
All right, Scott, we've got a B on the books. Where are you at with the Cardinals offense?
Yeah, I was hovering between the B and the B-, and I think I'm going to go with the B- because yesterday was just so annoying. They had the off day, the accidental off day, but it just reminded me of the teams a few years ago where they went down early and then it was just like, okay, let's get this thing over with. And it wasn't the getaway day lineup on the getaway day. So I'm like, okay, we could do this. We could have a shot. And then the first hit they had through 7 innings was Ivan Herrera's like chopper to third. That pretty much was an error anyway. So it was just kind of annoying, like, let's get out of here type of game. And because of like the potential because of the inconsistencies, and this is where my expectations came in to the grading here, is because while Mason Wynn was the leadoff hitter that we all expected for that first week of the year, he's turned it around, which has been good. I was hoping for the better start, but Victor Scott is just, man, we heard that everyone was excited about him. He reworked the swing. We talk about the witch voodoo doctor all the time. I was hoping that the 70 stolen bases that he set for himself, I'm like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And then just Herrera's slow start as well. I hate to do the B-, but I'm in grading mode for school right now. And let's go ahead and just throw that minus on there for a little bit, that last second push to get us over the hump. So we can't settle for that B just yet.
Okay, guys, I feel like you're too low. I'm at an A-. I'm going to give you my case, and you tell me if I'm nuts. 6 in offensive F4, 6 in WRC+, 9th in homers, 9th in runs, top third of the league and everything, higher in some categories. And here's where it broke down to me. I think that top 4, Joe, you said it, that gets an A+. Weatherholt, Herrera, Burley, Walker. I mean, Walker, my God, he's just resurrected his career out of nothing. And he's been doing this for a little while now, so it's almost like it has become normal to us. But if you told me at the end of April, Walker would be running at 166 WRC+, I would ask you what kind of crack you are smoking, because there's no way. You know what I'm saying? So I think this lineup's a little bit like Juicy Fruit. The top 4 is hardcore good. The bottom 5's been lacking a little bit. C- for the bottom 5. So I think if you smash those things together, I didn't think these guys would have this level of offense. So I'm going A-. Joe, am I too easy of a grader?
No, it's funny to hear the phrase resurrecting his career for a 23-year-old.
I know. You're right. But
he
it
had
was
been
so bad.
It was such a disappointment for the first 3 years that we saw him that you're seeing this now, and it's like, okay, this is what we expected for the whole time. For that, it's like he's finally arrived.
Yes,
he's finally here. So it's been so much fun to watch with the ups and downs too of getting figured out and then figuring out the pitching again. Like now we're in the upswing. It's let's hang out here for a little bit and see how good this can be for now before Walker goes into his next slump.
Great, Scott, I'm going to put you on the spot here. That cruise ship has the hantavirus, and you have Gormania. So give it individual grade to your guy Nolan Gorman here.
Gosh, that is so tough. I was hoping we weren't going to go individual there and kind of do it as a group.
You don't have to. You can skip it if you want.
You know what? We'll just give him a solid C, because what it's becoming is that he is just truly becoming what he's been. And I was hoping for that, maybe that 10% extras, whether it's WRC plus or whatever, that he was going to be not the building block, but somebody that you can hold on to at third base until somebody's ready, and whoever that's going to be, we still don't know. But he's just settling in as what he's always been. He's trimmed the strikeout rate, which is nice, but that has seemed to come at like a lack of power for right now, which is what we need him to do. I appreciate the defense and what he's been doing at third base. It's amazing what he can do when he can stay at one place for a consistent opportunity. And that's where, like, I have an article coming out this week. Is like, yes, he's had 1,500 at bats prior to the season, but again, look at how those 1,500 at bats came across, and that's where I was like, yes, he's going to take it at next level. So I guess he's just going to be settling into that MLB The Show 72 overall that might have a Player of the Week card every once in a while.
Joe, go ahead and follow up. Gorman kind of feels like a hinge point to the lineup,
Fine with what we've seen out of it. Like, it's, again, there were years where you looked at it and it was an automatic strikeout, and there were times, where it looked like it was 250 strikeouts in a season was what he was on pace for. You don't get that feel anymore. And also too, like, he's holding it down defensively. I think
yes.
in this lineup right now, batting fifth, it's a solid. It's just he's right there. He's what you want him to be. I don't think it's lower than expectations. Maybe watching what Walker's doing, you kind of look at it and you go, hey, Gorman, like, do that, like, be that guy. But we're just going to fall into, he is what he is, and this just might be what, maybe at some point, maybe with the Cardinals, maybe with somebody else, he might hit 45 home runs in a season, and that'll be one of those career years where you look back and you go, wow, what happened there? He figured it all out, even though he was still hitting 220, 210 that season that he had 40 play. Again, like, it's, I think we know what we're getting out of him, and we just have to be happy with it.
Or maybe Blaze Jordan has space jammed his powers down in Memphis, and maybe Blaze Jordan is going to have the career we thought that Nolan Gorman was going to have. Well, we'll just have to see. I felt this in both of the things that you guys said. Is it there feels to be like a little bit of, can we trust this? Is it going to continue to be this good? And I think that's fair because this team is young. But to me right now, if you ask me, like, what is the one thing that is powering the Cardinals to the record that they have, it's definitely the offense, right, Scott?
I think the thing that's holding them back is the offense.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you asked? Sorry, it cut out a little bit.
I think the offense to me is like the driving engine for these guys are above 500, and I'm not sure everybody expected it. This is where it's at, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It is the offense, as inconsistent as it's been at times. It has made up for the 5 ERAs that our starters have been putting up, and it's a good surprise. Like we didn't expect the offense outside of the consistency of Alec Burleson and Ivan Herrera to really be much. But it's really been 1 through 9 on any given day has done something. I mean, look at Nathan Church, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But for sure, it's the offense that's been the difference and really made up for the lack of consistent pitching, for sure.
And as far as the consistent pitching goes, like I almost would say the starting pitching has more than held their own and been consistent. The ERA is up there, but you look, game in and game out. Like they're not getting beat up to the point where where Ollie's having to go to the bullpen in the third inning or even sometimes in the fourth inning, and you're looking at your bullpen just getting decimated for the next couple days. Like I think you're seeing the starters, especially, we have a lot of people that will comment and will chime in on some of our post game shows or some of our videos that they want the Kyle Leahy experiment to be done, and I'm just like, what do you expect out of a number 4 starter in baseball? Or they're upset with Andre Palante at times, and it's like, he's a number 5 starter. Go look at what other teams around baseball have for their number 5 starters.
Miles Michaelis in Washington.
Yeah, like and
opening day starter Miles Michaelis.
I was
Scott,
gonna say he's like their 2 or 3 out there. But you look around baseball and you see who you look at some of the other rotations out there. And how could you not be happy with what you've seen out of it? Like, take away Dustin May's first 2 starts,
sure,
and look at everything that's been that they've done this year. I've been extremely happy with the rotation.
Well, let's put a grade on it. Let's just go to the starters. Put a grade on it. Oh, the waffling begins.
I know, because I don't know. I don't want, because A does sound too high. A- even sounds high for that. I would still go B-, because you still don't have that A. I would think I might be the biggest Michael McGreevy fan in all of St. Louis media. He's a dog. He's going to go out there and get you 6 innings every time out, and you're going to look at it, and you're going to go.
He's having the results right now.
Yeah, you're going to look at it. You're going, how'd that happen? How did he get the 6 innings? And he just goes out there and he just fights for it. But you don't have that ace where, if you are in a losing streak, if you're losing games and you're going, hey, that's fine, we got this guy starting tonight. You don't have that. And that's, you didn't have that with Sonny Gray either. Like, you would hope that, like, that's what Sonny Gray was signed for 3 years ago, but he never was that guy. You haven't had that guy in a while now. And I think that if you do want to compete, you do want to be a top team, like, you need to have that guy at the top end of your rotation. I mean, Paul Skeens don't grow on trees, but, as long as he's not facing the Cardinals, that Paul Skeens is going out there. If you're on a 4-game losing streak, Paul Skeens is going to put a stop to it. And every team needs that. And there aren't that many guys in baseball, so it can't be expected, but you would like to see somebody develop into that.
Yeah, I was going to say Paul Skeens, a.k.a. J.J. Weatherholt's son. Like, J.J. just took him yard. Okay, Scott, I'm going to go much lower on my grade than Joe, so let me give mine, and then let you cast a deciding vote. I'm going to give the starters a D+. Okay, they are 27th in F4 in the major leagues. They are last in K9 by roughly the size of the Gulf of Hormuz. And there's the 29th team, there's the Gulf, and then there's us. Now, I will say, to Joe's point, they are in the middle of the pack in terms of innings pitched. So these guys do eat innings, and I do think that's important because you've obviously got a relief corps that has had some struggles this season. But 28th in expected ERA, 27th in FIP. I think they're benefiting from a really good defense. But to me, it's just like, if the Cardinals were to collapse, and to Joe's earlier point, I hope they do not collapse. I want them to make the playoffs. I am a fan of the Cardinals. The reason the Cardinals are going to collapse is because of these pitchers and their inability to get strikeouts, get clean innings, and get through things better. Okay, so we've got B- and D+. Scott, where do you land?
All right, I am going to go with a C+.
Okay.
Because of the fact that as the rotation, if you're going to go win and loss record, which of course we know, whatever. But I think for this team, like Joe kind of said, you're going to get the innings out of them. So like the decisions when you see it in this starting rotation, I think makes sense. They're 13 and 12 as a starting staff. But the reason I go into the C range is because of the K per 9 going so low. Like, we knew Michael McGreevy wasn't going to strike anybody out. Dustin May, I guess maybe we were just stunned by that we actually got to see 99 coming out of somebody's hands in the starting rotation, but he's never really been that big strikeout guy. It was just like, oh my gosh, look at somebody that can throw the ball,
There's
more
stuff
than 90.
plus. What does that look like?
Yeah. And just Palante, he's been able to ramp it up to 95, 96. Leahy had this stuff in the bullpen that just seemed like there'd be a little bit more K. And there's not. And they've made up for it with the ability to throw strikes, which at times it doesn't seem like they're able to. But I think just the lack of the wipeout stuff and that big situation, I think, is what brings me into that C range. But they have been, to Joe's point again, consistent, but consistently just like fine. All right, I guess here we go. Like it's just like okay, when they're out of the game, which bullpen piece is going to blow it next? I guess is what it's been.
Yeah, Joe, I think the good news with the starters is wherever we give the grade, this feels like, as far as the minor leagues, where most of the help is coming from. Look forward in your crystal ball 2 or 3 years. This is probably not fair to ask. Are any of these guys still here? Like, who do you see hanging on? Maybe your guy McGreevy, but who is it that's still in the rotation?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know why Libator wouldn't still be in here. Like they made him the ace. He has been with the Cardinals. I mean, what are we on? Is it 7 years now? I'm trying to think when the first year that he was down at spring training was, and I feel like that was 18, 19 when he was down there for his first. He's been with the Cardinals. I mean, pretty much his entire career after getting drafted by the Rays, but he does feel like a guy that's going to stick around and maybe get a little bit of maybe get a couple years after all of the arbitration and everything's done. I think he sticks around and stays here for a bit, but outside of that, probably not. I mean, I would love to see Dustin May thrive in the second half of his career in St. Louis, but I know that's not the plan. I know that's just kind of a stopgap for him right now. So as far as the guys in the rotation, I would just say probably those two, Libator and McGreevy, would be the two that I would see here long term.
Yeah, what do we make of Libby's season so far, Scott? It feels like to me it's a little flat, kind of like the second half of last year rather than the first half of last year.
I had to pull it up on Fangraphs because I wanted to see, but I'm going to put him at just a harder throwing Jaime Garcia, which is, again, fine. A good, stable rotation piece or Jose Quintana. Why not? But again, he's still young. It has been 7 years that he's been with the team, and a lot of people go to college for 7 years before they put it together. But he is only 26 years old, and he is taking that step from that first year as a full-time starter to the opening day person. He is bringing that fastball up at almost a full mile an hour more this year. So there's more in the tank for sure. So I think that he will still be here because not only he's just arbitration eligible for the first time this season, but I just think he is another consistent piece that you can push to that 160, 170 innings in that middle of the rotation that will have an occasional maybe 10 strikeout start and then the occasional 2 2/3 with 7 runs.
What's odd to me so far about him this year is when I close my eyes and think of Matthew Liberatore, I think of him throwing that big rainbow curveball. And at least as far as Fangraphs is concerned, his curveball and his slider have been not nearly as valuable this year as they have been in the past, but his fastball and changeup have been far more valuable. So I think I've noticed in his starts, he's leaving his breaking stuff like high and arm side. And so I do have some hope for him that we'll get some better results because I do wonder if there's like a fix for that or there's a way that, because we've seen that from him before. He's had good breaking stuff in the past. So maybe Joe's going to be closer to right about this rotation. I think if you get a B- rotation truly for the rest of the season, I think the Cardinals are going to stay in this race. And that's what we all want. Joe, talk about your guy McGreevy for a second because he's like the worst stuff plus pitcher in the major leagues, but you're right. He just somehow magician Houdini's his way into these starts. We're loving what we're seeing so far.
I guess he's a dog. That's it. He's going to go out there and he's going to get you 6 innings. And like, this is again, like I talked about, I said that, I said that to him down in Jupiter. I was like, you just go out there and you're not putting up 12 strikeouts. You're not, having this overpowering stuff. I go, you just go out there and get outs. And he's like, yeah, that's, what his job is to go out there and you figure out a way to get 18 outs, get 20, 21 outs, and then hand things off to your bullpen. And I think he's a guy that gets that, and he's going to put the ball in play. And you have a good defense behind you, so why not use it?
Exactly. While we're here, Scott, talking about pitching, let's see how low the grading scale goes. Give us your grade for the relievers so far this season. Not all of them, but give your grade total.
Yeah, the full bullpen experience, I guess. Riley O'Brien really takes it over to, I think, higher than what it should be because of the disappointments of the others. So because I love Rob and because he's a closer, let's go ahead and do C minus, and I think that might be a little bit too high, because I'm kind of I threw it on Twitter the other day that started to get conversation was the Riley O'Brien trade conversation, and how someone was like, well, why not just wait until the offseason? And I don't want to compare, but the same thing happened with Jojo Romero. No, he's not a closer. Yes, he's a lefty, but now he's only got 1 year of control. But should they have offloaded him? He's been mediocre. Is he going to just be John King a little bit better? Now that's just where I'm like, okay, Riley O'Brien, I love you. I appreciate you finally making good on my prediction for the last 3 years that you were going to be an elite reliever. So I'll give him the bump to the C minus, but everybody else has been kind of just a bummer.
All right, Joe, before you give your grade, you walk into an amusement park, and there was a ride called the Full Bullpen Experience. What is this ride?
Are you calling up to ride the ride?
Will you survive it?
No, I'm not going on that. No, there was a ride. I think it was. I went on a roller coaster down at the Six Flags in Texas.
Okay,
a few years ago, and I was just trying to see how many I could get to before I was down there for the All-Star game a few years ago. And there was one where they put me in a seat, like put the thing over me, and I was in a cage. And as the cage spun forward and backwards the whole time, it took me up and around, and about 15-20 seconds into it, I just closed my eyes and I was like, all right, we're gonna be done with this in a little bit. Just don't yeah. And that's what it seems like at times. That's what this role, I think it was like the Joker, maybe.
Oh yeah.
What was the name of it?
It sounds like Ryan Stanek. That sounds like that's what you're describing. Yeah,
100% that's Ryan Stanek. But I'm gonna go with Scott on a C minus, because, and I'm gonna say that because I think Ollie is getting closer to figuring out who his guys are.
Okay.
With that. And you Scott, you said C minus because of Riley O'Brien. I think you can't mention Riley O'Brien without also mentioning Gordon Graceffo.
Yep.
And for what Gordon Graceffo has done and what he's meant to this bullpen, and you want to talk about a Houdini act, for some of the situations that he's gotten himself out of this year, like he is a perfect eighth inning guy. But I think they go to him earlier in the games because they know he can give you 2 innings. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I think that makes him such a valuable piece in the middle of those games when your starters can't get more than 5 innings. Or if they struggle to get out of the fourth or get out of the fifth inning, you can bring them in there and he can come in and then start the next inning for you with that. And I think you've seen the emergence of him. And I think Ollie has an idea every night of when he wants to use Gordon Graceffo. And I also think we're seeing an emergence too of George Soriano. I think George Soriano is, I think we are seeing why the Cardinals went after him the way they went after him. We're seeing why they put waiver claims in on him and lost on those waiver claims before they were able to. They just said, you know what, screw it. We have to go get a trade. We have to trade for him, and we need him in this. We like his stuff so much for that. Like the pitching ninja told me, like that was one name that surprised me. Talking to him, he was telling me that he loves George Soriano's stuff. I'm like, I'd never even heard of this guy.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here telling me you can't wait to watch, see what he does with the Cardinals because you love his stuff so much. Like, and we're seeing now, like, he is becoming that 7th or 8th inning guy. We're seeing him as a backup closer in situations. Mm-hmm. So I think Ollie is starting to get more comfortable with his core guys, knowing what they can do, and he's going to go with them there.
George Soriano, to me, is exactly how you should build a bullpen. Find a guy that nobody knows about. They seem to grow on trees in the pen. Yep. Don't pay money for it, right? Just plug them in and watch them go to work. So I'm going to go with D+ for the bullpen. I feel kind of bad about it, but I just really can't go any higher. 25th in WAR, 27th in Ks, 27th in expected ERA. We know it. They've raised all of our blood pressure. They've made us sweat. They've made us do all the things, except for the Riley O'Brien innings. What just a beautiful golden child out there in the bullpen he's been. You're right to point out Graceffo, but I just got to talk about this guy. Wherever Amelia Earhart is, that's where Matt Swanson is. I have no idea what has happened to him. I thought he was the best pitcher on the team last year in limited innings, and it's just wild, and he's walking guys, and the K isn't there, and his stuff is getting blasted. And so let's send out the search party and find Amelia and Swanson at the same time, because he should be the 8th inning guy on this team. Scott, what's happened to him?
I don't know. If they can't find Earhart, I don't know if they can find Swanson. Yeah, it's a bummer because like if you just look at the year to year from Baseball Savant, it's just two completely different pitchers.
It
I
is.
was right there with you. Like it was going to be him and Riley O'Brien. That when Riley O'Brien got traded, that Swanson was going to come in and then save the next 20 games for the team. And man, it's just not even been close. Yeah, I thought he was going to be the Kyle Leahy role as well potentially, where they're going to miss Leahy with his move to the rotation. That Swanson was going to be able to fill those different spots. And then Graceffo, thankfully, has been able to be that firefighter person. So Swanson, I get the calls for optioning him, but with the reminders, there's always has to be somebody to replace him. And do we want to live through the Chris Roycroft experience again, or would we rather see Matt Swanson figure it out?
Joe, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I would say, there's always cases in every bullpen where a guy is just lights out, can't be touched one year, and then the magic just wears off. And maybe that's just what we're seeing with Matt Swanson right now. Maybe that's just who he's going to be, and maybe he goes down to AAA and he's going to put up good numbers because his stuff will play against AAA hitters, but it's major league hitters haven't figured out. And that very well could just be the case while you're waiting to see who emerges down in AAA that you can bring up and take that spot. There are names down in Memphis right now that aren't on the 40-man, but are that are absolutely on the Cardinals' radar that they're looking at and that they're probably thinking of bringing up. But right now, he's not. Matt Swanson's not costing you games.
True.
It's none of you look at the bullpen as a whole. Like look at the last several games, the bullpen really. I think go back to that Mariners game. Like that's the one. But even that game, like Matthew Libator not going far into that game puts you in a bad position to begin with. But there aren't a lot of games where you could look at it here recently over the last couple of weeks and go, man, the bullpen really screwed them on that one. They get down by a few runs early and then they just can't get back. Like, so you're just, I don't think you're seeing the bullpen as much of a hindrance on this team that we might think.
Yeah, I think what we have to hope as watchers and Cardinals fans is that you've got to get more out of your pitching if you're going to stay in this race. I think we believe in the offense more than we believe in the pitching, and that's reflected in our grades. So hopefully, as the season progresses, Dusty, Blake, and crew can figure out some things with these guys and kind of maximize their talents. Listeners, we want to remind you to subscribe to us on Apple and Spotify podcasts, and be sure to check out our Discord and get involved in our game chats. We're going to continue with our grading session right after these words from our next sponsor. This episode of the Redbird Rundown is brought to you by All American Tree Experts. Cardinals fans, if the trees in your yard are getting a little wild, branches hanging over the roof, limbs crowding the strike zone, or a stump that's been in the lineup way too long, it might be time for a little roster pruning. That's where Johnny and the crew at All American Tree Experts come in. They specialize in trimming, pruning, tree removal, stump grinding, and storm cleanup. Basically, if your yard needs a little clubhouse culture reset, they're ready to step up to the plate. They'll cut it back, clean it up, and have your yard looking like it just got called up from AAA landscaping. So don't just sit there barking at the ump. Give the ever-handsome Johnny a call at 618-316-2457. Let the pros handle the cutting and tell them that Redbird Rundown sent you. All-American Tree Experts, keeping your trees trimmed and your yard out of the warning track. All right, Scott, let's flip it over to the defense. I think I know what grade you're going to give, but let me see. What's your defense grade?
Okay. I'll just give it an A-. It's fine. It's good. Everything's great. Mason Wynn, he's got as many errors as he had all of last year already, but he only had 3 at shortstop for an entire season. That's not going to repeat. Nolan Gorman, we've talked about, he's playing, you see the top 10 leaderboards coming by every couple days of, OAA and UZR and ABCDs and whatever. And Nolan Gorman is always in those top 5 of those conversations, so I guess that means he's doing well. Alec Burleson, I still think is an underrated first baseman, but I think that's more just because we don't have accurate measures of defensive value for first baseman yet. JJ Weatherholt has just been a star. Jordan Walker is an absolute cannon and just looked more comfortable out there. Nathan Church and Victor Scott have done their things. Well, even though Victor Scott according to the numbers, has been a little bit of a disappointment from last year's, platinum glove runner-up or contender. Everybody's done exactly what they needed to do behind the plate. You'd still like to see somebody throw out a runner, like whether that's on purpose or on accident. Like it would be great. And we're just not going to see it with whoever's catching. It looks like so. I think the catching is what's bringing me down. So I'll just say A-.
Joe, as you give us your grade,
yeah.
tell us, do they need a gold glove for JJ, platinum glove, or are they just going to have to invent something new?
It's been really fun to watch him play second base. I'm going to go A2. I'll say I was going to say A+. I'll save my A+, one lone A+ for later in this. So I'll go A right now for the defense, because again, like let's start with Nolan Gorman at third. And I know they brought Ramon Urias in to kind of be that backup infielder, and we've seen him spell Gorman, like Gorman DH on days when Herrera's catching. Tell me where Nolan Gorman has disappointed you defensively this year. Like he's not, like, Nolan Arenado would make plays that your jaw would drop on. Okay, Nolan Gorman's been more than serviceable at third base. He's made all the plays at third base. It's been fine watching him there. He's back to a comfortable position for him after transitioning and trying to learn how to play second base for all those years, and just went right back to third base with no issues for that. Mason Wynn, yeah, he has a couple errors already this year, but there have been so many times this season, especially on double plays, where they have turned a double play where it's a ground ball to JJ, and he gets it to Mason Wynn, and you're like, God, it was a slow hit ball. There's no way they get it. And then Mason Wynn just cocks his arm back and just lets it rip to where no other shortstop, right? No other shortstop in baseball is making a throw like that and getting those guys out at first base. Alec Burleson has put in so much work at first base. He just going to the backfields every single day of spring and working so hard when he knew that he was going to be the everyday first baseman here. And then you have two Gold Glove center fielders in center and left, and you have Jordan Walker, who, again, I mean, with that arm and with some, I think too, like his speed is underrated out there. The range of balls that he's getting to in right field is underrated. I think if you looked 2 years ago at right fielder Jordan Walker and you looked at this year's Jordan Walker, it's the turnaround defensively might be as impressive as what he's done offensively.
Well, the 2 years ago Jordan Walker was like the kid in T-ball, like picking dandelions in the outfield. And this Jordan Walker is a professional outfielder with a howitzer that's like people are already starting to not run on Walker, and you shouldn't. He's going to throw you out. Like, it's crazy what he's doing out there.
The stuff that like Ryan Ludwig and John Jay, the work that they have put in with guys like Jordan Walker, and even to that point too, like Jose Fermin and Thomas Ajaysi, the times that they have played outfield this year, they haven't cost you anything. They haven't looked terrible out there. They've gotten to they've been able to track down balls. Sajasi's thrown out a guy from the outfield. They have been great there too. Again, like a credit goes to all the work that they put in spring training to be able to get out there and play those positions.
I'm going to go A-2, and I'll go farther than you did, Joe, on Nolan Gorman at third base. There are a few plays he's made this year that I was like, which Nolan is that at third? Like, it's not just he's making the plays and doesn't look shaky like he did last year. He's making some spectacular plays. So I'm here to tell you, like, this defense is, to me, is making this pitching staff look better than they actually are. And this is part of the plan, right? The Cardinals have always been a good defensive identity team. And when you have Wynn and Weatherholt, God, they're going to turn double plays together for the next 10 years. It's going to be awesome. Wynn and Weatherholt up the middle. Future everyday center fielder Nathan Scott is going to be awesome. And center, Walker is improved. Oh, yeah. Burley is improved. We do need some catching help. And I don't know, Newt will probably be fine in left field. This is more than solid. This is a strength of this team. And it's not as flashy or as cool as like the offense or the starting pitching is. But you have to have outs. And this team is going to get you outs. Scott, did I go too far with the Nathan Church thing?
No, Nathan Church needs to be the everyday center fielder when Lars Nootbaar comes back. Victor Scott, he's been turning it on these last couple weeks, but now that raises his batting average to 189. And he has his grand total of 1 barrel this year, which is an absolute bomb in Pittsburgh. So that was awesome. But I don't know if Memphis is what he needs to do, or if he's just going to settle in as Michael Ciani with a little less playing time, or what it's going to be. But I think Nathan Church or Nathan Scott II or whatever, whoever's going to, if we can combine both of them, which we've mentioned before, is Nathan Church kind of is the embodiment of Victor Scott II as well, just in a different way. Yeah, with that more power. And I think we do need to see Newbar play left for everybody's sake, for him, for the team, and for the trade market. So I think that's just what's going to have to happen, and somebody's going to get squeezed out, and I think it's going to be Vic.
Joe, I saw your face when I said the Nathan Church center fielder, so just go ahead.
I know I'm all for it. Like
okay.
I am. Yeah, that's one that I know there were people on this coaching staff that loved Nathan Church before the season started. They saw they saw at the beginning of spring training, they saw what we're seeing now out of him. And it is not, I don't think there is anybody in the Cardinal organization that is surprised by the production of Nathan Church. We might be as fans, but I think everybody in that coaching staff, everybody in that locker room knew exactly what you were getting out of Nathan Church.
Yeah, it's really been awesome so far.
If I recall, Scott, didn't they compare him to Brendan Donovan in the clubhouse this offseason or during spring? I feel like they had mentioned how Nathan Church kind of had that feeling around him as well.
I hadn't heard that one. No, that wasn't.
We can cut this later if that's not a fact. But.
No, that's when I just
we're leaving it in, Scott.
I had not heard that comparison of him for that. I mean, I think it does surprise people. You know, even like when I hear them talk about it, when I see the stats come up of like rookie numbers, and you're like, really? Like I thought maybe he played like enough last year. Or like you kind of look at you, like, he is still a rookie.
Yeah,
I think it does still catch me off guard when you call Nathan Church a rookie this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, so far he's been a revelation. Let's hope he can keep it going. Scott, let's transition to another like quietly important way to win ball games on the base paths. Can you give us your grade for the base running thus far for the Cardinals?
That's a tough one because, especially because I value the ability to go first to third and take an extra base. Like that's the stuff that you don't really see in the box score. So you know, games like tonight where I'm gonna turn the game on and fall asleep probably within the first couple pitches. It's a bummer that you don't get to see it. So you do have to go through a little bit of the Statcast metrics. But I do feel that they're an aggressive team. John Jay has done an incredible job with that as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and because I don't feel like they've run into the outs with Pop Warner waving them around. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them a solid A. Jordan Walker's running some more. Victor Scott's been caught a couple times, but you know, if he's going to steal 70, he's got to keep running. Mason Wynn has been stealing more, which is thankfully something that we've wanted. Weatherholt is up there as well, so I'm going to go increase the stolen bases and just what it's been seems that they do take the extra base when it's out there. Let's give him an A.
Joe, is this your A+?
No, this is not. No, I wanted to look at something here as far as the numbers go with the Cardinals this year. They are as far as stolen bases go. I'm looking at where they rank.
They're 15th
right now in all of baseball. I'm giving it a C because that all spring training. We saw them stealing bases in spring training games. We saw how much they wanted to run. We heard how much they wanted to run. We saw in the first game of the season, Victor Scott get on base and steal. And it just seems like it stopped. It seems like it is just that is something they've completely abandoned.
Yeah.
And for all of the first to third, for all of the aggressive base running on hits, I think the stolen base we have seen just disappear from this team. And I don't know if that's, you know, if the players, I don't know if that's strategy that the team is
they're hitting too many homers.
I mean, it just seems like they had all this talk about it, like they were supposed to have this competition between each other. I remember that Mason Wynn was talking with Danny Wexelman in one of the spring training games, saying they were good. They had a competition amongst them, you know, Wynn and Church and JJ, and they were going to have Vic on a curve for what he was, you know, able to contribute with that. And you're not seeing that anymore. And I think that's been a kind of a downer for me.
Yeah, the stolen bases is a little bit of a downer, and I would contribute a lot of that to just Victor Scott's inability to be on base because he probably would have added 10 to 12, but you know what I mean, like 10 to 12 bases. I'm going to give him an A-, and I'm going to praise a guy specifically that hasn't come up yet, and that is Jordan Walker. First of all, we just need to talk about, like, this guy's got like 92nd percentile sprint speed. So he's basically like a D lineman from Clemson coming at you on the bases. And he's stealing some, and he's a smart base runner, and he's not running into outs. And to me, again, to just call this a Jordan Walker resurrection, because so far it kind of has been, I think a lot of this points back to coaching. It's smart from Ollie. It's smart from the base coaches. Despite the lack of steals, I think the first to third stuff is really important. Weatherholt is rated super highly as a base runner, even though he's got like middle of the MLB sprint speed. So again, this guy knows how to play ball. And I think they're letting those guys do that and take those extra bases. And this is also how they are scoring some of these runs. Because, Scott, you are right. They're hitting a lot of home runs. But the fact that they're taking these extra bases are setting them up to do some more scoring, which obviously we need with the pitching staff that we have. Okay. Well, Joe, I think I've got it by process of elimination. Your A+ must be in coaching. So I can't wait for you to say positive stuff about Ollie. We'll cut it, put it on social media, and just let you get ripped.
What? As of right, if you are an Ollie hater,
no, that's a pro Ollie podcast. We are.
No, and I'm this is to the people watching.
Yeah,
and this is to, and I've addressed this in many of our shows too. If you are an Ollie hater, seriously, what is there to dislike already this year? This is just talking to him, personally, when talking to him in the clubhouse and stuff, again, I don't understand the perception, the bad rap that he's gotten the last few years, and to see what he's going out there and doing this year with the players that he was given, and in a year that we were told it was going to be a rebuild year or whatever runway year, whatever word they wanted to use for it. I don't from everything from the bullpen to finding days off here and there. Let's forget about the days off that they gave in that Miami series to lead in to the 17-day stretch where you have not seen guys get days off for this. The way the starting pitching once again is out there pitching to a very serviceable level right now, keeping you in games, and the way that the back end of the bullpen has been used in some games when they have to go with 3 or 4 different arms to get you to the end of the game. There is nothing that he is doing to this point where I think you look at that and you're like, what are we doing here? Why are we doing that? I have been such a fan of his for the past few years, and even more so this year with what you're seeing, the production that you're seeing out of the players that he has.
Yeah, I love Ollie since the beginning, but you talk about the bullpen, it's like, well, do you want him to go Justin Brule or Matt Pushard or Jared Schuster or Chris Roycroft? It's like he doesn't have so many options, but when he does, I think he does it well. The Riley O'Brien thing, I actually had somebody respond on Twitter that was an Ollie hater, and they said he takes too long to adjust. I'm like, okay, well, he's like, with Ryan Stanek starting the season as closer. I'm like, Ryan Stanek was the closer for 2 games, and then it's been riding with Riley O'Brien since. You don't see managers make closer changes in the first week of the year. No, they didn't have a defined closer, but he had to choose somebody, and the ability for him to switch that and not just say, okay, we're going to roll with Stanek because we're supposed to lose this year. He doesn't care that they're supposed to lose this year, and I think that rubs off on the young guys as well. Having gotten to talk to him as well, he's got a personality that is, the fact that he rubs people the wrong way because of his personality just makes me laugh as well, because I think he's such a great mind and a well-spoken person who explains things very, very well. I think he's doing exactly what you want from a manager, and he just unfortunately hasn't had the buttload of talent to be able to roll with it. And once they're there, at the end of this year when they are buyers at the trade deadline, we could see what he's going to do. But no, I don't understand the Ollie hate, and it does seem like people are finally coming around to him, which is great. But as soon as you start getting comfortable, and that's when we start to end up getting sick of him as a manager. So I'm very happy with A+, sure.
And it goes even further than that too. Like I mentioned earlier with John Jay and the stuff that he's done with the outfield this year, and I think Daniel Descalso is a future major league manager for what he does with the team on the bench and the way that he gets them prepared. You look at the hitting coaches that they have, and how open they are, and how much they will talk to you about their their ideas and their methods of what this team can be. I think just you look at this entire coaching staff has been very open with the fans and the media about everything that they're doing this year, and you're seeing that reflect out on the field.
Yeah, while you guys were talking, I was thinking, like, if Ollie is this good at talking in public and being open in public, he's better in private with his players, where he's got more of a free rein to say the things that needs to be said. I hearken back to that interview that he and Brant Brown did, where they kind of laid some things out about Jordan Walker, and it caused a little bit of a kerfuffle in the media and the fandom. But then clearly, Ollie, to your point, shifted Wynn out of the 4-hole and put Walker into the 4-hole a lot earlier than a lot of managers would have, and that move has paid off. So I think I'm going to give Ollie an A as well. I think he's done a good job. I think this little hat tip here to Bloom and DeWitt, Bloom for convincing DeWitt, and DeWitt to open up DeWallet to hire some more of these coaches. We now have like a good complement of field coaches in addition to some of the minor league stuff that we're doing. And guess what? That helps. You're going to get better stuff out of your players. So the thing I like the most about Ollie is I think he's like, at his heart, he's the teacher, the developer, and that is exactly what we need right now. And so I'm excited for him to take this group of guys and lead us into the next window. So, guys, I think we should end like this. How would you grade overall the Cardinals at, what is their record? Are they 21-15 right now? Is that right? We're recording this before the first game in San Diego.
Yeah.
21-15, 6 games over 500. I think surprising to a lot of people, including the national media. Scott, you go first. What's your overall grade for the first quarter?
Let's give them an A. They're making my preseason overs look good. They've put money in my bank account, and they've been fun to watch. So absolutely, let's give them an A.
It really comes down to the bank account, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely an A. They right now, they're second in the wild card right now at this point. Why? How a quarter of the way through the season? Why would you not think that this would be an A grade for a team? It's 100% an A.
Let's go farther. A+. We did not think this was going to happen. Rebuild, blah, 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 all the things. Could the wheels fall off? Yeah, sure they could, but why would anybody root for that? Let's enjoy this while this is happening. This has been an A+ start to the season. They're fun, they're exciting, they're entertaining, and that's been so good to watch as opposed to some of the last few years of what we've had to watch. So a big thanks to Joe for joining our show tonight. Before we let you go, please tell everyone the 6,000 things you do over at STL Sports Central.
It's you know what? I will just stick with the Cardinal coverage talk. That STL Sports Central. Find it on YouTube. We have and all of our socials as well. Look up STL Sports Central. If it's Cardinal talk, you're probably going to see my face talking about it on there. So we have a great cast there too. Bernie Miklas, Randy Carricker, Brendan Schaefer, and so many others that bring you more Cardinal coverage. I do a show with Mike Claiborne every single week on there. So we are Cardinal heavy over there at STL Sports Central, along with every other St. Louis sport. But right now, I mean, it's May. What else are we going to talk about other than the Cardinals?
It's a baseball town. We are fortunate to have STL Sports Central and all the things that they do for this fandom. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Redbird Rundown, your go-to source for all things St. Louis Cardinals. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Twitter, Bluesky, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram for the latest updates. Keep those rally caps on, and as always, let's go Cards.